This application involves just over 30 acres. It's located off of Bells Ferry Road, which is site plan for the Marietta Data Center. One of the things that I did want to introduce you to, and that is exactly what is a data center. Some of us may have read about them, seen them in the newspapers, seen them on the news about what is a data center and what do they actually do. And I thought that was important because I had to look it up myself. As I knew it was a warehouse for computers that holds computers and computer systems. But what I didn't know was exactly what it does. Data centers house and manage computer systems, servers, data storage, and networking equipment. What does it actually support? It supports our digital platforms, supports the cloud, supports all our applications, and importantly supports artificial intelligence, AI. Data centers, if you think of them only as a warehouse for computer systems, I think that does not describe them accurately. As you can see here, these are a rendering of both the building and as well as the layout on the second picture below. What you can see is that this is an illustrative version of what the building can look like. They're designed and can be designed so that they don't look like warehouses. They don't look like your typical industrial warehouses or industrial buildings. They can be designed and outfitted with their exteriors so that they can appear to be very, very nice, high-class quality office buildings and such. And that's what we would be doing here. You can see the glass elements and the other elements that are surrounding these buildings. This is essentially a $1.3 billion project that would be coming to the city of Marietta. Year one taxes between the school and the city generate almost $5 million going to the city in year one when it becomes fully up and operational. $770,000 to the city. Over 10 years, you can see what would happen. A total of almost $71.5 million combined to both the school at $62 million and the city at $9.6 million. That's just property taxes. That's just property taxes.
So with these data centers, I've been doing a little research and I understand that they produce a lot of heat. How will that impact the neighborhoods that are kind of adjacent to this project?
Yes, so the computers, servers, and the equipment that is used in the data centers does generate a lot of heat. And as a result, they have to have very high-end, sophisticated cooling systems. So they use a closed-loop cooling system of water. So I think there's also been a myth about, these use tremendous amounts of water in order to cool them because the interior has to maintain a certain temperature and has to be cooled. Now they use, and this one would use a closed loop system of water that provides for the cooling so they're not generating heat outside the building, they're generating heat inside the building, which is cooled through that system. We have already...
That's going to prove to be problematic for the nearby neighborhood, as these cooling systems are going to require a very robust HVAC system to support them. Essentially, imagine, the world's loudest desktop computer fan running behind your house all day. Or if you spin around any sort of industrial building near the HVAC area, it's a pretty apparent abrasive noise. And with this data center producing so much heat within that cooling loop, that still has to go somewhere to exit the building, and that's going to be done by that HVAC system. So you're still going to have that noise pollution from that system affecting this neighborhood. And with such a short distance between this building and those homes, and really just a minimal tree wall, that's going to be a very noticeable elevation in the noise pollution of the surrounding area.
The power needs for this data center are going to be tremendous. I'm not an expert on this, but I did some quick research just now. According to Goldman Sachs, AI is to drive a 165% increase in data center power demand by 2030. This demand will eventually be passed on to consumers, to people in the city of Marietta. So this will affect the residents of the city of Marietta. I'm sure they will not be happy about the increased power costs that they will likely have due to this new infrastructure that it will need. And this data center will only create 40 jobs here. It doesn't really seem worth it to me personally.
New employees, which seems like a very small amount given how much space is being used. But I want to focus on the space a little bit because you said it was 30 acres. And you estimated that in 10 years, it would bring in about $71 million in tax revenue. If you could bring up the tax revenue, that'd be amazing. But if you look at that, just overall, it's like, oh, 71 million, that's a lot of money. But if you look at the land use, and the land is the most valuable thing that a city has. The land use, if you divide that by the acreage, the value per acre, that's $2 million over 10 years. There's most of the buildings in the Marietta Square bring in $2 million per acre a year, or way more than that. And I think it's a very valid thing to look into how much tax revenue something is bringing in as compared to how much space it takes in the city, and not just the raw number.
Wow. God has given us an opportunity in Marietta. We've got the infrastructure is already there. We don't have to bring kilowatts over from here or there. It's there. We have a power company that can sustain this. If it's good enough to go down to Palmetto and build it in their yard, for God's sakes, let's put it in our own yard. Let's show people what we're about. This is what Marietta's about, growth.
I would implore all of you sitting here before me to look online at the data center currently in Memphis, Tennessee that's being operated, and the impact the constituents in that community are facing. It's creating a health crisis for a number of them. Politico, New York Times, a number of individuals have written about this. You can go and see their testimony. So just because it's in a community does not mean it's a benefit to this community. We've spoken to the proposal of a maximum of 40 employees. The benefit to the impact this will have on the community, for a number of things I've already stated, the increased cost of energy that's going to be passed on to consumers in the area and the constituents. I do not feel like this is going to be a net benefit to the community.
I just want to say, as somebody that, a homeowner in Marietta that pays city taxes for the city, the school district, customer of Marietta Power, I fully support this. I agree with the comment Mr. Walker said the other night that this could be the biggest win for Marietta since the Bell Bomber plant.
They primarily serve Bitcoin mining or AI, which offer no direct benefits to the citizens of Marietta. Their short and long-term impacts are all negative for Marietta citizens. AI in particular may do away with many jobs for future generations.
Pays, and will it be Marietta Power customers? No. You know who pays? The developer and the user of the data center. The substation is built by agreement with MEAG by this data center developer, fronting the entire cost of over $100 million has to be paid to MEAG to start, before they even start to build the substation. Fully paid for up front. The infrastructure is paid for by the developer for the data center. That cost is not passed on to Marietta Power customers. Their use is not passed on to Marietta customers. In fact, they'll be paying for their use at a substantial cost directly to Marietta Power. This does not increase costs to Marietta Power customers.
They were talking about prices going up because this so capital intense volume makes your prices go down. And it has, in the city of Marietta, our Board of Lights and Water has been a leader in working with good partners to bring capital into it where it minimizes the risk for the city. And it's like I mentioned, the value, the slope of the land adjacent to 75, this makes this probably a low-risk area. I mean, it's not going to be in the middle of a subdivision. It's greatly buffered, and believe me, the research has been, we have attracted a very quality data center, and we're blessed with this opportunity.